Brendan, did you watch a former Celtic manager get a bit of success last night? What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. No, I'm so pleased for Ange on a personal level. It's obviously it's been a tough season and he's had to cope with a lot of nonsense this year. So to see him so happy at the end of the game and the team, and yeah, I was really pleased for him.
And he obviously sort of put his neck on the line saying that he would win something this season, so nice for him to see that through.
Yeah. I think he's just declaring what he's done in his career. So it was obviously he's been held up to that statement, but no, it's absolutely brilliant for him. I think he's gone there. He's worked very hard, brought an idea to the club, trying to change a culture, and that's never easy. So to go on to arrive there and then to do that, and give the club the Champions League again, which is great, and then look to build and continue moving forward next season.
A big game of your own, of course, this weekend. How are you feeling heading into this one?
Yeah, we're very motivated to finish the season well. I think we set out nearly 11 months ago to with the objective to win the 3 domestic trophies, and we've won 2, and we have one more game to do the third one. So that there, alongside our progression in Europe, it would end what would be a brilliant season for us. So yeah, we're just keeping it simple, refining our ideas this week in preparation for the game, and yeah, we'll look forward to that on Saturday.
Is that what you find? The more you have these successes, that the belief's just always there, or do you have to then sort of work at other ways to motivate the players or anything on weeks like this, or does it just all take care of itself because of the good memories you have?
Well, that's the past, of course, and that can give you confidence, but it doesn't help you in the present. You still have to do your work, do your preparation, because if you solely rely on that, then of course you can be you can lose your aggression, not be concentrated. I think what's important always is the process. Winning is the result of a process, and so it is very much process driven. We know what it feels like to win. We know the work that it takes to win and to win consistently, and then you then prepare and you provide different stimuluses for the players to ensure that they're focused and not content. And a final's a final. It's a last game of our season. We wanted to be there, and we are. So we know we have to then play well to win the trophy.
How's the squad looking, Brendan?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, apart from the guys that like Jota and Dave Murray and that. Apart from that, everyone, and Rio, of course, everyone else out.
Obviously, you've got big decisions all over the pitch in terms of who you pick for the starting 11. How big is your decision in midfield with no Rio? You've obviously got good options there with both Luke and Paolo.
Yeah, it always gives you food for thought going into games, and especially finals. You're trying to anticipate what Aberdeen might do. So do Aberdeen press and be really aggressive, which then can leave us space, and if that's the case, then there's maybe a team that you have to pick for that type of game. Are they going to stay low and deep where there's not the space? And then you're thinking about a team that can manage through that strategy. So there's food for thought. I think what we've shown is that the team and the squad is ready. I think there's none more so better than that than our last game against Aberdeen. I think that showed the importance of a training process and how you look after the players that aren't playing so much. And then that allows them to be ready. And I think that was what was key for us coming into this game, that whatever the options I picked for the team to start, all the players are in a good place, and that's where we find ourselves.
Just wanted to ask you about your record at Hampden as well, which is remarkable over your time here at Celtic. Why do you think that is, Brendan? Why have you been so successful at the National Stadium in the biggest games?
We get very good players, get a great support behind them, and a combination of everything really. We've played really well in some games. you have a little bit of fortune in other games. But a belief and an idea and hard work and a mentality has seen us through. So yeah, it won't last forever, but we take every game like it's our first final and prepare for that.
With all your successes, Brendan, when you wake up on Cup Final Day, do you still have the sort of feelings and the buzz of excitement and the nerves as you did when it was maybe your first Cup Final?
Yeah, because everyone is so important for us as a team and for the club in general. So yeah, I think going to Hampden, it's such an iconic stadium. It's what we're judged on, you know, when our time is done here. People will look back on it and what you achieved and whatever. But yeah, getting up in the morning of the game is clearly it fills you that excitement, the anticipation of how the game might go, and ultimately you want to win it.
And when it comes to your team, do you keep the players on their toes? Do they know the team? Will they know the team the day before, or do you keep them on their toes at the last minute about who's playing or how do you
No,
work
I
that?
tend to always tell the team the day before the game. I always think it gives the players that are playing the chance to focus fully on the game. It gives the players the chance who might be disappointed 24 hours to fall back in with themselves again and make sure you're ready for the game, because that's our job. But that's always the way I've worked, unless there has been something where we're waiting on a number of injuries or we're waiting on clearance for something. Then in the main, I always stabilise the team so everyone knows, not bring any anxiety on the day of a game or an hour before the game. Just everyone be clear on what their job is, what their role is, and then look to go and play.
I'd imagine the way the final last year panned out shows people who aren't involved immediately that it can still be their day.
Yeah, I think that, and it will be the case, I'm pretty sure, on Saturday as well. The guys that'll come off the bench can influence the game for us, and we'll need to. It's been such a, like I said, it's virtually been 11 months of constant playing and physical exertion, mental exertion, as much as anything at a club this size. So you know that when you get to that stage of the season in the very last game, then you need the whole squad, and that's what we've relied on all season. The squad has always been ready to perform, and be no different Saturday.
James came off the bench and was brilliant for you on Saturday.
Who, sorry?
James.
Yes.
Got the equalisers. He a guy that you envisage having a role to play on Saturday, given his ability and his experience, form he's in at the moment. Yeah,
There's no doubt. And the interesting thing about the game at the weekend was James everyone else was probably wanting him to score more than he himself. He was actually doing the job for the team, and you know, on the right side he was setting everyone else up, and I moved him to the left to try and see if I can get him to come inside and shoot, and then that was blocked off for him and moved him back to the right again. But no, I think wherever I play him, right side, left side, he's an outstanding player, yeah, whatever role he plays, whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench, he's got a lot of quality that can affect games, and especially big games.
You mentioned the word culture when you were talking about Ange having to change that at Tottenham. I'd imagine here that's something that helps in a week like this, in a game like this, when the players know what it's all about and are you, like you said, used to playing big games.
Yeah, I think our culture has been set in place for many years. Of course, at different levels, but it's a club in this, especially this last generation, has been really successful. But you're always having to bring ones with you as well. It's not the same players that are winning all the time. There's lots of players that it's new for, so they come in, but when they come in and arrive in straight away, they feel it. That's also why players come here. Players come here to win trophies, to play in Champions League, to deal with pressures, to improve as a player, and now you get the chance to win trophies. So, but yeah, it's very much set, but it's not something it's something you got to keep revisiting, keep refining, keep refreshing. I always say that a culture is something that is continually developed. It's not just something that's set, and that's it. It has to be improved and yearly. And like I say, there's players experiencing a lot of this for the very first time in their careers. So, but when you have experienced players that like what we have here and experienced staff, then of course we can bring these guys with us.
Brendan, see when you talk about kind of at the start of the season, kind of talking to the players about their targets, and what does that look like? Is it about getting them to visualise what's ahead potentially, or how do you go about actually doing that?
We look at it. I'll present to the players, and they'll have their own ideas and their own goals within individually. But really, as a team, it's providing a roadmap really for the season. You know, from pre-season, what that will look like, and then mapping it out on the journey right the way through to that Champions League qualification, through till winning the first trophy of the season, getting to your halfway point. So just taking the guys on the journey really of what the season can look like and where the various signposts are along the way. Then of course on top of that it's then obviously a bit, listen, it's performance driven really, rather than, we know we want to win, that's why we're here, that's why we get paid, it's what the expectation is here which drives us, but there's a process to that, and then it's just really about outlining what that can look like from June through until the end of the season.
When you're on the last kind of chapter of that, Brendan, I mean, tomorrow would you give the players a big kind of team talk, a kind of final, big address kind of thing, or do they not need that because they're so experienced? No,
everyone needs it. Everyone needs the stimulus. Everyone needs inspiring and motivating, and that's for every game. But certainly, we go into the game tomorrow. I'll do a presentation with the players. We'll chat through the tactical idea of the game, what the psychology of the game can look like. Take that out onto the grass, train that, practice that. Rest in the hotel, and then I'll do a final presentation tomorrow before we leave the hotel, and then they're ready to perform.
If we look back, Brendan, on that first presentation you did at the start of the season, would it pretty much have mapped out the way you thought it would map out?
Well, you hope. You hope. It didn't last year.
This year, though, when you
yeah.
all the road maps or road points you
I think that I think I declared right at the beginning of the season the challenge for us is can we win every domestic trophy, and we've done that, and then add to that all the performance related goals in terms of goals you want to score and concede, and all based around performance. So yeah, the vision is very clear, I think, for a club like ourselves at the beginning of the season. What certainly is now what the expectation is, it's incredible really how that has transpired really to be, you know, the norm is such that you're sitting declaring that your treble's is what we want to achieve. But we can't be frightened of that either. I don't think when you're a club this size with this expectation, you can't be frightened of that. That's what you want to be able to narrow your focus in, and then once you've done that, then you can come away and go, right, and then you've got to get to work, and you've got to earn the right to do all the things that you want to do.
You mentioned legacy, Brendan, earlier. You talk of a treble specifically, and that achievement. Historically, you look at all the treble winners of this club, they go down in a legacy. Is that what these players have at their feet, as a chance to, you know, etch their name in the history books with a treble being such a huge achievement for the club?
Yeah, I think that this season, if we can do that there, then it would mark a really, really fantastic season in the club's history. You know, been fighting so long to gain credibility and being competitive at the very highest level of Europe. So I feel we've done that to an extent this season, and actually last season some of our performance level was good, and so we've built up over a couple of years in Europe. But of course your bread and butter is your domestic football, and that'll be the same with any of the top teams in any of the big leagues. Domestically you want to be dominant. So the players have the chance to etch their names into the concrete. and it never gets taken away from him. Once you've done that, then you have that possibility to do it. So yeah, it's something that we relish that opportunity, and it's what you want to be able to do at clubs this size.
It would also be potentially a third sale for yourself personally. What would that mean?
I haven't really thought, obviously on a personal level, what it would mean. I think that maybe when I'm left here and moved on, I can maybe think a wee bit more deeply on it. But my immediate focus is just purely on the game and giving the best performance that we can, and then see what that looks like at the end. And if it means 3 trebles, then it means that. But I haven't thought so much on what it would mean personally.
Were you able to celebrate properly last week, obviously with this weekend in mind?
I have to say, I'm. If you're looking for a big story around celebrating and being drunk and all of that, it's the wrong one. Nah, it was just. I went home in the evening and I don't even think I had a beer. I just was at home and just relaxed, and then the next day I likewise had some family over for the weekend, but no, there was no big celebration. I think that'll come at the end of the season. It's been such a long season with many interviews and many talks and lots of messaging that you got to do, and I can have time to relax after next week.
Looking forward to a break, Brendan?
Yes.
You really need it.
Well, it's just relentless, really, and the preparation that goes in, like you say, the media and football and inspiring players and managing a club this size. Of course, it's there's a lot of expectation and a lot of demands. So I think when the end of the season comes, I'll be tired and ready for a rest. But for now, we was one final push.
Are you good at switching off when it comes to the summer? Can you put your phone in a drawer and?
Not so much that. I think it's like I'll be active within the break. One, because I have to be. It's not one where you work in a company or a business where you pick the phone, like you say, in the drawer and you can go away and say, don't contact me for 2 weeks. That doesn't work like that. This I'll be regularly on the phone, but I can prioritise when I need to use it or not. But because it is important to switch off, so I can do that now with experience much better than I would have done when I was younger. So, but no, it's I'll enjoy the break when it comes. But we still one last push, get the job done, finish the season strong, and then we can prepare for next season.
Will this be Greg Taylor's farewell game? Do we know yet?
Don't know. You better ask him.
Is that still up in the air, Brendan? We spoke a month ago or so, and you thought it looked as though he was going to be going, and then things maybe changed a little bit. Where is it? Where are we at? Where are you at with that?
I had a long conversation with Greg yesterday. I think the door's not closed. I think probably both he and I just sort of focusing really on performance level of the team, and I think once the season's over Saturday, then he'll have obviously a bit more thinking time with a lot more space to be able to do that. So so I wouldn't shut the door totally on it. I think I gave probably a number of weeks back my feeling what may happen, just having experienced so many of these situations and what it can look like. But I would definitely say it's not 100% would be his last game. I think I put on record a number of times my keenness to keep him here, believing that it can work with him and Kieran being here with the number of games we have and the different types of games that we need to play, and also because of Kieran and his situation coming back and especially in this early parts of the season where there's a lot of games, so it can definitely work, but there has to be an agreement between himself and his representatives in the club, and if that's not reached, then he won't be here. He'll move on, but it's certainly not closed as of yet.
Will you have a conversation with him after the final, or have you made your feelings known? Is the ball in his court? It's his decision.
No. Listen, it's not all on Greg either. You know, I think it's something that there needs to be that solution between the two. You know, every player, he recognises this is a big contract for him, and a big contract in terms of you know, this will carry him for the next 4 or 5 years, and at 27 that's one of your last big contracts as a player. So everything has to be right in that. He's become a father recently as well, so there's lots of things that he has to take care of on that side, and I've always tried to respect that space that he's needed for that. So and it's not all financial. So that's where it's at. I've made it clear all the way along that I'm very keen for him to stay. He's loved his time here. He's enjoyed playing, and he's a real part of what we're doing here. So hopefully, it can find its way to him being here. But if not, then we'll have lost a fantastic young player.